There are two rows of huge walls under the sea. They are too regular and straight to be natural. They are incredibly huge and far longer than any man-made objects on the land. They start off the coast of Perth, West Australia. They run almost in parallel for about 4,500 kilometers toward Antarctica. They are mostly covered with seafloor mud and look like veins under the skin. But they are partially exposed here and there. The height varies from around 60 meters to more than 260 meters. The width also varies from around 1 kilometer to more than 3.6 kilometers. They are too huge to call walls, but too straight and regular to call mountain ranges. We have no words for such extraordinary objects. Natural or artificial, we could call them huge linear protrusions on the seafloor in neutral terms. These are far beyond the knowledge, experience and capacity of human beings. When we think of huge walls, the first thing to come to our mind is Great Wall of China. It is made of bricks piled by human labor. In principle, the method of construction is piling blocks by muscle. But underwater there are mountainous walls far larger and longer than any man-made objects on the land. They don't seem to have been made by piling blocks. Practically there are no comparable counterparts on the land. Many people are unable to face the reality of such huge artificial objects under the sea which have been completely unknown. And some of them try to brush aside such embarrassing discoveries by saying they are natural formations simply because they don't look man-made. For many people, artificial is man-made. What is not man-made is automatically natural. At least those bird brains admit something extraordinary is underwater. But there are some who bury their heads in the sand and scream such things don't exist down there. They say those are only digital illusions and there are actually no objective and solid counterparts out there. They say what appear to be huge traces or formations are nothing but illusions digitally produced in image processing. According to them, I am fooled by digital illusions or digital byproducts. This digital illusion theory is very popular because it makes you feel spared from serious explanation while making you feel far smarter than your opponent. This theory is supposed to demolish huge mysteries underwater like magic. Digital illusion theory is supposed to be a magic lamp which solves great mysteries instantly. But does it really solve huge underwater mysteries in question? If these objects are real, objective and solid, it is ridiculous to think they were naturally made by some geological activities, such as plate tectonics, volcanism, erosion or oceanic current. What kind of earth scientists will come up with some mundane explanation based on natural phenomena to solve this mystery? Since I multiplied visual measurement with numbers in my videos, my critics, mostly digital illusion theorists, have ceased to bark at me. Challenged with measurement results of height, length, width and depth of huge traces on the seafloor, their digital illusion theory crumbled to pieces. They used to be sneering and laughing at me, but now they are very silent. They are now trying to forget what they said. But they can't deny that I have been right in insisting there are innumerable huge objects and traces on the ocean floor. I have insisted that they belong to a different civilization other than our human civilization. For convenience I call it crawler civilization because of their innumerable huge tracks. At least we can confirm the existence of their traces by Google Earth. Innumerable huge traces of their engineering activities can be confirmed by anybody in a minute. We have only traces of crawler civilization. Only tire marks, no cars. But if there are innumerable traces which are objective, measurable and undeniable, we should assume something physical and solid left those traces. In our human history, we have almost no records or testimonies about crawler civilization. So-called ancient civilizations mostly seem to belong to human civilization after all. Their architectural engineering seems to be basically piling up blocks by muscle labor. In short, pyramids in Egypt were built by piling blocks. Contemporary humans could understand most of the technologies of so-called ancient civilizations. But as for crawler civilization, we have no clues. The method of their construction seems to be completely different from piling blocks. Crawlers, I mean people belonging to crawler civilization, never seem to be the same as us, human beings. There are a few reasons. 1. Incredibly great scale and high level of their technology and engineering. 2. Their capability of activity under the deep sea. 3. Their reticence and non-interference policy to human civilization. We human beings have long thought Earth is our own home. We have taken it for granted that we are the master of this planet and have acted as such. There might be, of course, other intelligent beings on many planets far away in this vast universe just as us on Earth. We have never doubted that we are the only intelligent beings on this very planet. Crawlers might be original inhabitants of Earth, and we human beings could be latecomers at most. The land might be less habitable zone for many life forms on Earth, the planet of water. We humans might be like minority tribes in mountainous regions. We might be living in poor cornered area driven from rich aquatic world. We seldom doubt our terrestrial life. We think it normal for life in general simply because of our insular land-centrism. Our mindset is still geocentric. Considering the percentage of water area, this planet should have been called not Earth but water. We call it Earth simply because we are terrestrial animals and the land area is our world. Tons of evidence are now surfacing from the sea floor suggesting there might have been or might be intelligent beings other than humans on this same planet. And their civilization is possibly far more advanced than ours. We know very little about them, but they seem to know us very well. That might be the reason why we human beings have been unaware of their presence on this planet for such a long time. They have remained unnoticed until Google Earth inadvertently made available digital images of Earth's sea floor to the world. Revelation of sea floor images could be the greatest contribution made by Google to human knowledge. We have been greatly misled to think aliens are extraterrestrials. The word extraterrestrials means intelligent beings outside Earth. We have been looking outside and seldom inside. We have been looking up and seldom looking down. We have never imagined there have been somebody lurking in the dark basements of our home planet. Our mindset has been meticulously built for us to think Earth is our home, although we know very little about Earth itself. As we human beings are terrestrial animals, we naturally know very little about underwater. We know almost nothing about what's going on under the sea. It is said that we know far more about Moon than the deep sea of Earth. It's not our world. It's a forbidden domain for water-fearing humans. The mysterious huge walls are only part of those underwater huge traces. There are many kinds of Earth scientists, for example, oceanographers, sea floor geologists or sea floor volcanists. Most of them presumably know those huge traces on the sea floor. It is impossible for them not to be aware of those unnatural formations of gigantic scale. They might have been silent about those traces simply because they can't explain. Ordinary scientists are not truth seekers but mere paid researchers. We must not expect too much from them. They don't write papers which don't agree current theories and paradigms. They don't say or teach what they themselves can't explain. They are especially afraid of being laughed at by mentioning unexplainable huge traces on the sea floor. That would surely jeopardize their positions and income. As you see, these huge formations are made by tracks. We are obliged to assume that something as wide as 7 kilometers or more than 10 kilometers locomoted on the sea floor. crawlers as large as cities moved around and left those traces. Tracks as wide as 7 or more than 10 kilometers should be the results of locomotion underwater made by something with the same width. Yes, that really sounds outrageous, but that is the logical conclusion from tons of indisputable evidence. Before screaming, "Impossible!" we should admit that there can be many things in the universe that are far beyond our understanding and imagination. The truth is not always agreeable to everyone. The truth can be unpleasant or uncomfortable to many people. And it can be disturbing or threatening to faint-hearted people and children. That's why digital illusion theory is needed so badly, even though it's a heavily patched inflatable tank. It sounds high-tech and looks reliable and promising at a distance, but it doesn't stand up scientific scrutiny at all under your nose. When relieving effect is necessary, the label digital illusion works like magic. So, people who find crawler reality disagreeable or disturbing readily seize on digital illusion theory. Digital illusion label is used as a feeding bottle to stop babies crying. It makes babies stop fussing, at least temporarily. And most people feel relieved thinking the problem is solved. Digital illusion theory itself is a kid stuff and an infantile illusion. Inflatable tank looks formidable in the eye of ordinary people. It will never be decommissioned. This video is for extreme minority who don't need the feeding bottle or inflatable tank in order to forget about the truth. Actually, I don't think everybody should face the truth at all. I even admit the necessity of kid stuff or infantile illusion. Santa Claus story, Tooth Fairy story, or stork delivering babies story, no problem at all. Digital illusion theory itself is a perfect illusion, but can be very useful for most people to retain their peace of mind. Only extreme minority can face the reality without such illusion.